Ever wondered why mirrors, despite their common presence in our lives, often spark a sense of unease? Let's delve into the looking glass and explore the fascinating yet chilling relationship between mirrors and fear. Mirrors, with their ability to reflect our world, have held a significant place in human culture since antiquity. They are not just tools for vanity or practicality, but also potent symbols and conduits of the supernatural. In many cultures, mirrors are believed to possess magical properties. They are often seen as gateways to other dimensions, portals through which spirits can travel and communicate with the living. The mere act of gazing into a mirror has been thought to invite unwanted attention from the other side. In Japanese folklore, for instance, there's the legend of the Yata no Kagami, a sacred mirror that is one of the 3 imperial regalia of Japan. It's believed to house the spirit of the deity Amaterasu. Then, there's the notorious Bloody Mary legend, a popular game in the Western world that sends shivers down the spine of anyone daring enough to chant the name Bloody Mary in front of a mirror 3 times in a dark room. In Greek mythology, Narcissus, entranced by his own reflection, fell into the water and drowned, a cautionary tale about the dangers of vanity and self-obsession. Mirrors in literature and fairy tales often reveal truths in prophecy, like the magic mirror in Snow White that could answer any question truthfully. From a psychological perspective, mirrors can induce discomfort because they confront us with our own image, an unfiltered view of ourselves that can be unsettling. There's something deeply intimate about looking into a mirror. It's a silent confidant, always reflecting back to us our deepest fears and insecurities, our hopes and dreams. With such an eerie legacy, it's no wonder that mirrors have become a staple in horror and mystery. As we continue to explore the dark corners of this everyday object, remember, the next time you gaze into a mirror, you might not just be looking at yourself, but also into the unknown. Mirrors aren't just reflective surfaces, some believe they're portals to the paranormal. Dive deep into the realm of the unknown, and you'll find a myriad of tales about mirrors serving as gateways to another dimension. Stories passed down through generations, whispered in hushed tones around flickering campfires, or shared in the quiet corners of the internet, all speak of the eerie experiences individuals have had with these reflective surfaces. Take, for instance, the tale of the haunted looking glass from the late 19th century. A family from New England claimed that their antique mirror was not just reflecting their images but also that of a ghostly figure. This apparition, they said, would appear at random, looking as real as anyone else in the room, before fading away into the polished surface. In another part of the world, there's a story about a mirror in a small Italian village. The locals speak of seeing lost loved ones in the reflection, not as they were but as they are now, in the afterlife. The mirror is said to bring comfort to some, while others find the experience deeply unsettling. Then there's the legend of the Bloody Mary ritual, a popular dare among teenagers. The game involves standing in front of a mirror in a dimly lit room, repeating Bloody Mary 3 times and waiting for a horrifying face to appear. While it's most likely a psychological trick played by our minds, it's a chilling example of how mirrors can stir up fear and fascination. But it's not just about seeing apparitions. Some believe mirrors can absorb energy, trapping negative vibes and even spirits. This belief is especially prevalent among practitioners of feng shui, who advise against placing mirrors facing the bed to avoid nightmares or restlessness. Whether these stories are true or mere figments of imagination, they certainly add to the mirror's mystique. Mirrors, it seems, aren't just for checking your reflection. They're a source of intrigue, fear, and a link to the paranormal that continues to captivate our collective curiosity. But what if we told you that there's a scientific explanation to why mirrors can be unnerving? Settle in for a moment as we delve into the phenomenon known as the strange face in the mirror illusion. It's a psychological trick that our brains play on us, and it's largely responsible for our eerie experiences with mirrors. Imagine staring at your own reflection in a dimly lit room. As the minutes tick by, your reflection begins to distort, your features morph, and your face might even transform into someone else's. It's not a ghost, not a shadow from another dimension, but a simple result of our brain's information processing mechanisms. Our brains love patterns, they thrive on recognition. When we stare at our own face in a mirror for an extended period, our brain gets bored and starts to tweak the image, subtly altering the reflection to keep things interesting. This results in the perception of strange, even monstrous faces staring back at us from the mirror, a harmless trick played by our minds yet terrifyingly real in the moment. Now let's talk about reflections. Our brain is a master of perception. It knows that a reflection is not a real object but rather a light pattern that represents an object. But when we look into a mirror, our brain has to work overtime to distinguish between the real and the reflected. This cognitive dissonance can create a sense of unease, leading to the feeling that something is just not right with that mirror. Furthermore, our brains are wired to recognize faces. That's why we sometimes see faces in clouds, in the grain of wood, or even in a piece of toast. This phenomenon, known as pareidolia, can also occur when we look into a mirror. Our brain, in its constant quest for familiarity, may interpret random patterns in the reflection as faces, leading to those spine-chilling moments when we think we see someone else in the mirror. Science might demystify the horror, but it doesn't make it any less chilling. So, the next time you find yourself alone with a mirror, remember, it's not the mirror you should be afraid of, it's your own brain. From breaking a mirror to the Bloody Mary legend, superstitions have added their share to the mirror's frightening reputation. Let's start with one of the most widespread mirror superstitions. Breaking a mirror will bring 7 years of bad luck. This belief dates back to ancient Rome, where it was thought that human life renewed itself every 7 years. So, if a mirror, which was considered a reflection of the soul, was broken, it would take 7 years for the soul to repair itself. The Victorians too had their own mirror superstitions. They believed that a mirror reflected not just your physical self but your spiritual self as well. When someone died in a Victorian home, all mirrors were covered to prevent the deceased's spirit from getting trapped. And then, there's the chilling Bloody Mary legend, a sleepover staple for thrill-seeking kids. The tale varies, but the core ritual involves chanting Bloody Mary in front of a mirror, usually in a dimly lit or candlelit room, to summon her spirit. Some versions of the story suggest that Bloody Mary will merely appear and scare you, while others suggest more sinister outcomes. In Japanese folklore, the mirror holds a sacred status, believed to be a symbol of truth and sincerity, reflecting the divine nature of the sun goddess, Amaterasu. However, it is also a portal to the spiritual world, and keeping a mirror in your bedroom is considered bad luck as it invites spirits into the room. These superstitions, while fascinating, can be terrifying too. They play on our deepest fears and insecurities, making us question the reality reflected in the mirror. Is it just our imagination playing tricks in the low light, or is there really something else in the mirror with us? Superstitions, whether you believe in them or not, have undoubtedly made mirrors a subject of fear and fascination. After all, they transform the mundane act of looking into a mirror into an encounter with the unknown, a potential brush with the supernatural. Mirrors have been a recurring motif in horror cinema, amplifying our fears in the most spine-chilling ways. They serve as a portal to the unknown, a gateway to another world, or perhaps, a reflection of a hidden self. In the realm of horror, mirrors often take on a sinister role. They are not just simple reflections, they become entities that manipulate our perception, twisting what we see and challenging what we believe. They mimic reality, yet they can unveil a terrifying alternate universe, or expose a haunting presence lurking in the shadows. But it's not just about fear. The mirror is also a symbol, a metaphor for self-discovery, for facing our deepest, darkest fears. It forces characters and us to confront the horrifying truths we'd rather not see. Mirrors in horror cinema unsettle us because they tap into our primal fear of the unknown, of the unseen. The mirror's ability to distort reality and reveal the unseen makes it a perfect prop for horror. The fear of mirrors isn't just about ghosts and goblins, it's deeply rooted in our psychology. In the realm of psychology, mirrors are more than just reflective surfaces. They are tools that can trigger self-consciousness, anxiety, and a host of other emotions. When we gaze into a mirror, we are not merely looking at our physical appearance, we are delving into a profound introspective journey into our inner selves, often leading to a sense of discomfort. Consider this. When you look into a mirror, you see yourself as others see you, not as you perceive yourself. This can create a dissonance between your internal self-image and the external image reflected back at you. This incongruity can trigger self-consciousness, leading to anxiety and discomfort. Moreover, mirrors can serve as a stark reminder of our mortality. Every time we look into a mirror, we are forced to confront the passing of time, the changes in our physical appearance, the inevitable aging process. This can trigger existential anxiety, a fear that is deeply rooted in our human nature. Then there's the aspect of introspection. Mirrors force us to confront not just our physical appearance, but our inner selves. They make us evaluate our actions, our choices, our lives. This introspection can be uncomfortable, even scary, especially if we are not ready to face our realities or if we are struggling with self-esteem or guilt. Furthermore, mirrors can also trigger feelings of vulnerability. When we look into a mirror, we are exposing ourselves, laying our insecurities bare. This vulnerability can be daunting, sometimes even terrifying, especially in a world that often values perfection and conformity. And so, mirrors in their quiet, unassuming way can evoke a multitude of feelings, from self-consciousness to anxiety, from discomfort to fear. They hold up a mirror to our souls, forcing us to confront our deepest fears, our insecurities, our truths. Mirrors then aren't just scary because of the supernatural, but because they force us to confront our own selves. So, are mirrors just reflective surfaces, or do they hold a darker truth? We've embarked on a fascinating journey today, exploring the eerie and unsettling aspects of something as commonplace as mirrors. We started by considering the cultural significance of mirrors. Throughout history, mirrors have been revered and feared, often believed to be gateways to other dimensions or windows into our very souls. These ideas have been woven into folklore and myth, adding a layer of intrigue and apprehension to our perceptions of mirrors. We then delved into the realm of the paranormal, where mirrors take center stage in stories of ghostly apparitions and spectral communications. We've heard tales of spirits trapped in mirrors, of mirrors acting as portals to the afterlife, and even of mirrors reflecting images from the past or the future. From the supernatural, we moved on to the scientific, looking at the psychological phenomena that can make mirrors seem so frightening. We discussed the Caputo effect, where staring into a mirror in low light can cause hallucinations, and the strange sensation of the uncanny valley when our reflections don't quite match our expectations. We also touched on the superstitions surrounding mirrors. From the 7 years of bad luck for breaking a mirror to covering mirrors in a house of mourning, these beliefs add another dimension to our fear and fascination with mirrors. Our journey wouldn't have been complete without a nod to horror cinema, where mirrors have been used to great effect to amplify fear and suspense. From Bloody Mary to Candyman, mirrors have been the focal point of some of the most chilling scenes in horror. Finally, we explored how mirrors can have a profound psychological impact, reflecting not just our physical appearances, but our inner fears and insecurities. Mirrors can be both a tool for self-realization and a source of self-doubt, playing on our deepest anxieties. Whatever your beliefs, one thing is for sure, mirrors, with their mysteries and fears, will continue to captivate and terrify us.